So a common question that new coders will get is, what language or framework should I be studying? Because there's just so much out there, right? So it becomes really difficult to kind of narrow that down. And so what they often do is they'll ask their programmer friends what's the latest and greatest. And that's a really good way of looking at it, but you can actually have a better, more logical approach to it. And so I want to kind of go through that. So let's start with step one. And this is the step that most people neglect. It's really crazy how many people ask this question, but they don't know the answer. So my first question is, what do you want? Weird, right? Why don't a lot of us not know that? That's a really important question, because if you don't know what you want, then how are you going to get it? So to start off, you should know what you want. What does your lifestyle look like? How much does it pay? Just have an imagination. And a really good way of kind of doing that is kind of think, okay, let's imagine that 5 years down the line, I woke up and I was like, man, I'm happy, dude. Like I'm living my dream life. What I want you to do is look around. Like, what happened when you woke up that made you realize that this is a dream life? I mean, are you living in a home? Are you driving a certain car? Are you working remotely? What time did you wake up? What are you eating? What's your weekend plans? How long do you work? Where are you traveling to? Or what do you do for fun? Who do you hang out with? And as you start to define that, that's going to kind of give you a picture of what you want. Then from there, we're going to get to step two. So first, define your dream life. And then step two is figure out how much do you want to get paid. Everyone always says, oh, it's not about the money. Yeah, it is. Of course it's about the money. We all, if I told you, okay, you were going to get paid $10,000 a year, would you be happy about that? If not, then, okay, what number are you looking for? And when I'm saying a number, it should be a range. So, of course, you want to get paid as much as you want, but what is a minimum where you're like, okay, I want to hit this number at least, or else I'll be unhappy. So my number, honestly, is around 70,000. I'm pretty happy with 70,000. If that would probably suit me really well. So if I got 70,000 and above, to me, that's all golden. But 70 and under, not anything under 70, not too happy about that. So because of that, that now starts to limit the jobs that I can take. And so when you're thinking about what frameworks and languages you want to start to first you have all these options, but then now let's start trimming them. So salary is a really good one to start with. And that's going to start to go, okay, now I know what my life looks like. I know what I'm doing. I know what my daily life looks like. I know what I'm working hard for. I know what kind of company I want, right? So you have a better picture of that. And so now that you know the salary, now we can move forward to the next step. So what you do is you go to Stack Overflow Trends. I'll have the link below so you can get to it. But what you would do is you click on this link and then you start to research what is the popular languages. So let's say somebody says C#, then you run that, or you see Java or JavaScript or Python. And what you get to see here is how the languages and the frameworks kind of grow. So what you want, again, what we're doing is you usually have too many options, which makes it very confusing for beginners. So you get to do this to try to prune off what are the options that you want to work with. And if you do this, you can kind of see that Python's pretty good. It's got a good increase. C#, I mean, yeah, you can use it for video games, but generally speaking, I wouldn't say it's on the increase. So I wouldn't recommend it unless it's something specialty that you're trying to shoot for. And then let's look at some frameworks. So we were to look at React, JS, Angular, Django, Ruby on Rails, or .NET MVC, ASP.NET MVC. Like here you can kind of see, let's do ASP.NET just to kind of show that. So here you can kind of see how each technology is on increase or decrease, because this is just basically telling you how many questions are being asked on the site. And so as they start to decline, like especially like I think ASP.NET is really the most obvious one, because I just want to kind of use that as an example. Like at first it was on like so many questions, and then of course, so then as the technology declines, jQuery, that's another one that's probably on the decline. See that? Look at that. So these are showing you things that are on a decline. So there's always going to be jobs for these technologies that are on a decline, but not something you want to invest in, right? You want to invest on something that is moving up in a relatively good trajectory. And of course it's kind of coming down a little bit. It's not perfect, but it's good enough right now. And it's still, there's a lot of jobs. You don't need to be perfect at this. You just need to see that something is moving and is popular and is not dying. Okay, even just I'm sure even with Angular, like it's not the greatest, but I'm sure even here you can find some jobs. So it doesn't have to be perfect. Okay, don't be like super anal about it. But yeah, this is one way to prove additionally what are the stuff to research and learn. So I wouldn't be invested in jQuery, but if I had a choice between jQuery and React here, I'd obviously choose React. Okay, so that's the next step. Step 1 is define your dream life. Step 2 is figure out your salary that you want. Step 3 is Stack Overflow trends. And now we're going to go to the last step, and that is going on to the job search categories, the job engines. So in step 4, what you want to do is go through your LinkedIn, right? Or LinkedIn or Indeed, doesn't really matter. The whole point is you're just looking for some job search engine, and you look up like React developer, the city that you're in, and you kind of get a general guesstimate of the salaries that they're putting up, and you use that. So there's a couple of things that I would look for. One is the average salary. Again, it gives you a ballpark of what you want, and then you look at the number of jobs. So if you look at the React developer compared to an Angular developer, I'm sure there's going to be a difference. 98 jobs. So you see how these kind of change. And even though Angular is a good paying job, it's not terrible, to be honest. It's just that there are less jobs. So ideally, you want to have a lot of jobs and a lot of money, especially something that is at your number and above. And so that's kind of how you can kind of prune the tree of what technology you want to go with. So at the moment, to me, the obvious one is it's about like React right now. It's fantastic. It's super popular. If you do anything with e-commerce, it's super popular. JavaScript, Python, super popular right now, and you really can't go wrong. And this all works out very well. I mean, here, let's do JavaScript. I mean, look at 642 jobs, pretty good, and pretty decent money. And as opposed to if you were to do Ruby developer, I'd imagine 29 jobs, a lot less, a little bit. It's more difficult to get in there. And let's see, like Rust developer, 28 jobs, Go, something I hear about a lot, 239, a little bit more. So that's kind of how you want to do this. And then you do this, and it's going to set you up for the market pretty well, so that you'll get a position that you want, and you will get the job that you want, and it'll be easier to find a job when you know there's a lot more positions available.